Welcome back to Red vs. Blue episode summaries. Today, I'll be doing episode 29, Radar Love. Sergeant Simmons had returned to base with the Warthog's ruins following the explosion, which they were thankfully uninjured from. When Griff saw the remains, he commented that the Warthog seemed to bring them bad luck, with Simmons agreeing, noting how every time they use it, it breaks, explodes, or goes on a crazy killing rampage, referencing episode 25. Donut then walked up to Griff and Simmons to assess the remains, suggesting they exchange it for a few motorcycles, before changing his suggestion to a big tank just like the Blues, naively stating how it never seemed to have any issues, which is ironic considering he blew it up once. Meanwhile, Church had met up with Tucker, Caboose, and Lopez by Sheila's remains, with Church finalizing a deal with Lopez that if he fixes the tank, they'll let him go free. Caboose, confused, clarifies with Tucker whispering that he thought the actual plan was to trick Lopez into fixing the tank and then having Church repossess his body. Tucker confirms that is the plan, explaining how you don't tell the person being tricked that they're being tricked, revealing the truth behind Church's deal with Lopez. Caboose dumbly replies in horror, clarifying that if he was being tricked, the others wouldn't tell him. Tucker simply replies by asking why they would trick Caboose, with Caboose accusing him of knowing, just not telling him, thinking his assumption was clarified. Lopez responds to Church's deal by asking where he would go if set free, reminding him that the Reds betrayed him, or at least that's what he believed. Church simply assumes Lopez responded in agreement, permitting him to begin fixing the tank, with Lopez simply responding in sadness that he had no home. Back at Red Base, all four of the Reds had gathered around the Warthog's remains, with Griff standing on top of it looking through the sniper rifle, informing the others that he could see a guy fixing the Blues tank. Sarge naively denies this, claiming that their intelligence that they've gathered throughout their time in Blood Gulch clearly states that the only people in the canyon that have mechanical training are Lopez and Tex, who he calls the dead freelancer. He appears to then realize the possibility of Lopez actually fixing the tank, so he bitterly cuts himself off. Donut simply questions that they have intelligence, assuming Sarge meant actual smarts, while Simmons, who also had the realization regarding Lopez, clarifies if Sarge realized the same thing as well, mentioning how Lopez runs away, the Jeep starts driving itself, and now there's a new blue guy on the blue team, as evidence. Sarge confirms he was thinking the same thing, but dumbly adds on that the Blues must have made a mind control ray beam to brainwash Lopez to do their evil bidding, not able to accept the fact that Lopez may have joined the Blues of his own volition. Griff makes a more reasonable but still incorrect suggestion that the Blues may have just reprogrammed him since he was a robot. This is followed by Donut, who makes the most brain-dead, nonsensical suggestion of them all, but despite that is the one who gets it spot on, mentioning how the person who got killed by the tank may have come back as a ghost and possessed Lopez's body, and also adding how it could explain why Sarge started acting strange when they had Tex as a prisoner if the blue ghost possessed him as well, and how the Jeep going insane was probably just coincidences from the ghost trying to figure out Lopez's body. Despite the accuracy, the other Reds obviously stared at Donut in disbelief, with Simmons stating he liked Sarge's ray beam idea more, with Griff agreeing that Donut's idea sounded dumb, to be expected from such a nonsensical idea. Back at Blue Base, Church, Tucker, and Caboose watch Lopez as he fixed Sheila, with Caboose jumping up and down in anticipation, begging Lopez to hurry, being desperate to say hi to Sheila, with his scary voice adding that it was desperate to start killing everyone. Tucker clarifies that Caboose just means killing all the Reds, with Caboose happily confirming, before his scary voice adds, for starters. Church, getting somewhat annoyed by Caboose and Tucker as usual, questions Lopez how much longer the fixing will take, with Lopez coincidentally completing repairs immediately after, saying completo as Sheila activates, stating her usual activation speech. Caboose, over the moon, shouts gratefully, informing Sheila that she was fixed. Sheila greets him, still remembering him, thanking him for repairing her, assuming he was the one who did so since they were the closest. Tucker interjects, correcting Sheila that the robot fixed her, not Caboose, leading Caboose to angrily demand in his scary voice for Tucker not to cockblock him, leading Tucker to complain, getting disgusted by this potential human-robot relationship. Sheila, after hearing about a robot, curiously inquires further, stating she was unaware the canyon had another robot. Lopez then looks up at her as their optics meet, and a heart plays in the background of the episode, signifying instant attraction. Tucker further states how weirded out he is by this potential relationship, with Caboose agreeing in this case, instantly jealous. Sheila introduces herself to Lopez, and Lopez introduces himself as his full name, Lopez the Heavy, resulting in Sheila complimenting the name and his motor skills, stating it was a nice name for a nice soldier. Caboose, panicking and jittery from jealousy, urgently informs Sheila that Lopez has to go away now that he fixed her, explaining that he only came here to help Caboose with that. Tucker, tired of commenting how uncomfortable and weird the relationship situation was, pleaded for Church to possess Lopez and take his body back, with Church obliging happily, stating roger that, as Lopez yelled no, still wanting to talk to Sheila. Church disregards Lopez's wants, attempting to possess Lopez, as he says he could hurt her. Tucker questions if Church was successful and okay, jokingly asking if he needed him to help flip the switch, only for Church, still in his ghost form, to reveal that he failed to possess Lopez, dumbfounded at what was going on, questioning who else could have possessed him. Just then, Tex reveals herself in Lopez's body, stating some Spanish words, mimicking Lopez before calling the Blues cockbites, and saying, guess who's back?